This is Anti-Paraoff Boxing Social Association with Betfred, and I'm joined by El Gato, Jack Catterall, here in Manchester. Jack, how you doing?
Yeah, all good, thank you. How are you, Andy?
I'm all good, thanks, mate. Obviously, it's a pleasure to catch up with you once again. Just talking about the end of your year last year, I know you fought out in Dubai. I hadn't had a chance to catch up with you since. Talking about that fight and the experience of fighting out in a place like that.
Yeah, it was a really good experience. We had a good end to last year after a pretty frustrating year, trying to chase this world title down. Fought the once in April, and then I was kind of waiting most of the year. It felt like got the fight in November in Dubai, so it was a nice experience to go over there. I had a tough fight against Timo Schwarzkopf, so respect to him. He gave me a good 10-round fight, put me in a good place now going forward this year.
What's it like fighting in a place like Dubai? You know, we saw fights out in Saudi Arabia last year with Anthony Joshua, Amir Khan fighting out there. What was it like in Dubai?
It was brilliant, really good experience, and looking back now, I'll probably take a lot more away from it than I thought at the time. Obviously, this year I'll be fighting for a world title, so whether I have to travel or not, it's put me in a good stead going forward, travelling, getting used to the different time zones, and fighting in a foreign country.
You mentioned you're obviously waiting for the mandatory position to kind of be made good by the WBO. What kind of update have they given you? What kind of timescale have you got?
So there's a fight, 2 weeks this weekend. You got Ramirez and Postel. I think ultimately we're going to wait till that fight's done, and then I believe whoever's got the WBO belt then can't fight anybody else. I'm next in line to fight for it.
Before we do move on to just to touch on that, Ramirez Postel, what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's an interesting fight. I think it's a tougher fight. I've spoken to a lot of people, and people are kind of swaying towards Ramirez, and I do, but I think you can't write off Postel. He looked like he stayed in shape all year round. Very tough fighter. I know he's been beat, but I think he'll be there to give Ramirez a good fight.
Jose Ramirez, again, you just mentioned he's going to, in your opinion, you feel he'll beat Victor Postel. If that was to happen, I know that he's obviously signed with Top Rank. Josh Taylor's recently signed with Top Rank. Is there a worry in your mind that the undisputed fight may be made before you get your chance to fight for the WBO title?
I'm not worried. I'm in a good position. I'm like the thorn between two roses, really. They've got all the belts. I'm mandatory now, so they're going to have to fight me, whether they want to try and get unification on first or after that. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to fight for that title this year.
Do you think you'll face one of those, or do you think if maybe one of them was to win, obviously if they was to face each other, undisputed champion, then do you think they'd look to vacate and possibly move up?
Possibly. It can unfold a few different ways. I mean, if they go for the unification fight, ultimately there's no other superstars at 10 stone. You're looking to go into the welterweight division to fight the Crawfords. Sorry about that. That's all right. To fight the Crawfords and the other big name fighters at welterweight, so the title would become vacant. Kind of hard. You're preparing. You're looking at Ramirez. You're looking at Taylor. I've just got to prepare to beat all of them.
Obviously, you're playing this waiting game, and at this stage of your career, how frustrating is it? You're at the fringes of world level, waiting for your first bite at the cherry, but you're kind of having to tick over. I don't really want to say tick over fights. How do you find the right balance between fighting somebody who will prepare you for that eventual world title shot, and not somebody who's just going to come forwards and give you hell for leather for 12 rounds?
Yeah, I mean, that fight that I had in Dubai was a perfect fight. I got a good solid 10 rounds out of them, but in an ideal world, I wouldn't fight again before this world title. There's plenty of good sparring up and down the country and possibly abroad to keep preparing and maintain a good level of fitness all year round, and as soon as I get the nod, I'll be ready.
So obviously, as you wait, and you just mentioned getting that nod, what kind of plans have you got until then?
Just stay ready, look after the body, healthy mind, and just keep hunting for them.
I just wanted to get your thoughts as well on a few of your campmates. Obviously, we've got Akib Fiaz. I saw you down here doing a bit of body sparring with him. How's he been looking? Yeah,
really good. How many fights have you had now, Akib? 4 fights. Coming on really good. I think he's listening to Jamie and Nige well. And like myself, really, we've surrounded ourselves with a lot of elite fighters. So we're all rubbing shoulders with each other, learning, and pleasure to have in the gym. Just keep learning off each other.
What's it like? You mentioned elite fighters. You got Carl Frampton, multiple weight world champion, Rocky Fielding, former WA regular world champion, Martin Murray's challenged for world titles. What's it like being able to box with all these guys? What's it like being in camp with all these guys who've obviously achieved so much in their careers?
It's good, it's brilliant. For me, more than anything, it's about I've been in world title camps before. I've seen how fighters prepare for a world title. I'm next in line to fight for a world title, but more than anything, it's about seeing how they prepare out of the gym as well, mentally. This kind of stuff that goes on behind the doors, the media commitments and other things like that. It's nice to see and understand what you go through. It's not just training for a fight. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you have to go through. So it's kind of nice to go to these big fights with these fighters and see things from a different angle.
Now, I did just mention Carl there as well. Carl obviously used to be a campmate with Josh Taylor. Just to go back to it all, are you kind of picking his brain with regards to Josh? Or I know I interviewed Carl in Vegas, and I put the question to him: how would he see a fight between yourself and Josh going? And he said he isn't going to answer that question because he's obviously a personal friend with Josh, and obviously he's in camp with you and a friend with yourself, so he couldn't give an answer. But are you there talking to him about that possible fight?
No, Carl's got enough respect. I mean, he trained with Josh for many years. I'm training with him now. It's business. If we fight, we fight, and I think we both respect Carl enough not to ask him for his opinion, our advice on the fight, and we can all prepare ourselves and fight each other, hopefully in the future.
Before I do let you shoot off, just a couple of things I wanted to get your thoughts on. Obviously, at the back end of last year, I hadn't had a chance to catch up with you, but Ruiz Joshua 2 in Saudi Arabia, what was your thoughts on Anthony Joshua's victory and regaining the unified world titles?
Yeah, I was happy for him. British boxing again, booming. Nice to have the belts back in the UK with Joshua. He did what he needed to do in the fight. Weren't the most entertaining fight in the world. He went out there, did what he needed to do, stayed disciplined, and ultimately that's what it's about, getting the job done, and he got the win.
And then obviously the other one coming up in about a month's time, Wilder Fury 2 out in Las Vegas. Again, your thoughts on that one, Jack?
Again, another exciting fight. It'd be interesting to see. Obviously, the first fight, we've had Fury coming down, losing all that weight. Now he's been back in the gym, he's been maintaining, he's been working on other stuff. It'll be interesting to see, but you can never write Wilder off. Obviously, he's got that one punch that put him down. Was it the 12th round? 12th, yeah. So, I mean, it's an interesting fight. I'll be watching it and hopefully be on the end of my seat.
Is Wilder Fury 2, is it just with regards to both of them, everybody talks about styles make fights. The two styles that they both have, Wilder obviously having that concussive right hand power that he holds, and Tyson Fury a brilliant boxer. Is it just with them two, they're the only two styles that can kind of beat each other? Or is there another way that you feel that anybody in the heavyweight division could box against them?
It's hard to say. I can't see Wilder outboxing anybody. I don't think he's got a brilliant boxing ability. He's a big unit and he can swing like fuck, so he's going to catch you, and you don't put Fury down as a puncher. He's herky-jerky. I seen the press conference the other day, he said I'm going to meet him in the middle of the ring and have a right swing with him. So if that's the case, I think he'll get put down, but in my opinion, his only way of winning is boxing him. He's a brilliant boxer.
Well, Jack, I will let you shoot off now, but what would you like to say to everybody ahead of the rest of 2020?
Yeah, just stay tuned. Thank you for all the support of everybody, far and wide, and hopefully it's an exciting year.
Jack Catterall, as always, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for speaking to myself on Boxing Social.
Oh, thank you for coming down to the gym.